guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling. And man, I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to hang out with me a little bit and swing by and check the video out. Got a good one for y'all today, guys. We're going to be talking about how to rig a tube with the Core Tackle Tush rig here. This is a totally unique presentation. It gives this tube an action that you can't duplicate at all with any type of traditional tube head. And I'm going to show you guys how to modify the tube for the Tush head or the Tush rig, and then show you how to rig it, give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it in today's video. I think you guys are really going to like this. Also, guys, a couple quick housekeeping tips before we get started. Just want to remind y'all, or you guys may have seen this, but you've probably seen I've had merchandise on my channel, the sweatshirts and t-shirts for sale. I did it through a company called Spring, which YouTube set up. But anyway, they had a bunch of problems, and guys were having problems getting their orders on time, and you know, it was just a big mess with it. So I switched companies for merchandise. Got a new company, guys. Got a bunch of good merchandise. If you guys are interested in getting some intuitive angling hats and shirts and hoodies and all that type of stuff, you can see it there in the video description, all the link to the merchandise there. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. And also, guys, real quick, we do have my Blaukat Throwback, my Power Finesse Throwback jig back in stock at Tackle Warehouse. They've been out of stock for a couple weeks because they sold out as soon as they had the last shipment in. Got a good stock in here, guys, right now. 6 different colors, 3 different sizes. Living rubber frog hair, the only one on the market. Best finesse jig on the market right here, guys. So I'll have my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to my jig link if you guys would like to use that. So really appreciate that. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about the Core Tackle Tush rig here. This is made by Johnny Schultz and Matt Steffen. Cutting edge deal. You guys have been following me. I've been talking about Core Tackle products all year. Super innovative, and I'm going to explain to you guys why this is better than the traditional way to rig a tube. Okay, now first of all, let's talk about the traditional tube head, and I'm going to explain the difference here. Here is a traditional tube head right here that most people use, just a offset hook with the lead on the end here. Now, this is what happens with this is when you rig a tube like this, the tube falls straight down like that. You know, the head of the weight being forward like that, it just pushes the tube down. It just falls straight down like a rock, you know, regardless of the size that you use. With the Tush rig, the weight is distributed throughout the shank right here. And what happens when you put a Tush rig on a tube, which is the first time we talked about it, the tube will spiral on its way down. Like it just sort of goes crazy like that because of the weight being distributed throughout the shank of the hook. And then also when you hop it off the bottom, it does the same thing. It just sort of spirals down, whereas the old style tube head, it's like it goes boop like a rock, then you jerk it up, boop like a rock. It doesn't do that spiraling. And in clear water situation where the jig head tube is primarily used, this is a key deal because this is a sight-oriented bait. It doesn't they're not attracted through it by water displacement and vibration. They're attracted to it by a visual look, and this is what generates a strike is on the way down, especially in a couple different conditions that we're talking about. Okay, let me talk to you guys about how to modify the tube and how to rig it exactly, because I have tweaked this and I've experimented with a bunch of different ways, and I came up with what I consider is the best way to do it that works the best with this rig. Now, first of all, just get you a salty tube. Also, guys, I'll link this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. I'll link the Tush rig, I'll put that in the description, and I'll put the tubes I like if you guys would like to get you a pack of the Tush rigs after you watch the video. But anyway, get you the salty tube. It'll work on a 3 or 4 inch tube, either one with the hook I'm showing. First of all, rough it up. And these salty tubes, you can see, it's going to bring that salt to the surface. And this is really critical because a tube, since most tubes have a lot of salt in them, and they've got a thick wall of plastic. And if you use a tube right out of the box, the thing's hard as heck. I mean, it's super hard and super stiff. And by roughing it up like that, it's going to really break that salt up, and it's going to make it a little tougher. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is you don't want to come through the head like this. A lot of people will rig it like that, but the problem, if you come through the head like that, is the large diameter of the lead there will tear too big of a hole in the head of the tube. And a lot of times the Tush rig will come through that hole that it puts. So what you want to do is take a pair of scissors and cut probably about about an inch up on the tube, inch to 3/4 of an inch like that. So you got a channel, and then take your Tush rig and come in on that channel and just push it up there to the end. And then you're gonna have your hook eye coming out. So this is the way you wanna rig it right here, guys. Everything's compacted, all the lead's inside. You got the shank of the lead evenly distributed, and it's gonna cause that tube just to spiral down like that on the fall. You jerk it up, even when you jerk it up, it's gonna go like that, it's gonna spiral down. This is the most unique presentation. Once you try this, guys, you will never go back to a regular tube head. I mean, this is gonna be the deal that you're gonna use moving forward from now on. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about when you want to fish this type of a rig. You know, the Tush rig tube setup. Let's talk about the scenarios with it. This is a bait that's going to catch fish 12 months out of the year in the right conditions. I don't care what part of the country you're in. If you got the stuff that I'm going to describe here, you're going to catch a bunch of fish in it. So here's what you have to have for this thing to work very good. First of all, you need to have water clarity. I think at the minimum 2.5 foot in clarity. 2.5 to about 10 foot of clarity is going to be perfect. In the wintertime, a lot of especially the highland impoundments will have 4 to 6 foot water clarity. So this is going to be a really good bait in more of a clear water environment when you rig it like this. Also, it's going to be great for smallmouth. All you dudes up there that fish the northern smallmouth waters, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But primarily what I want to talk about here, man-made reservoirs where you have rock, where you have water visibility over 2.5 feet, and where you have, it helps if you have a mixed species. It's like the tube is better on lakes that have a few spotted bass, largemouth, and even some smallmouth. You can catch them either or, straight smallmouth or whatever, but all those lakes that have sort of a mixed population, like your Kentucky and Tennessee lakes, you know, Lake Lanier in Georgia, some of the California lakes, all the Ozark lakes, that's when this tube head's gonna really work good on the Tush outfit. Okay, so first of all, let's talk a little bit about seasonal on this as far as the times of the year. It will work in deeper water all year long, except during the springtime of the year when the fish are spawning. So if you're fishing anytime like, you know, January, February, March, and then on into May, June, July, August, September, whenever, my number one thing is I like to fish a tube on flatter banks and points. So I want to get on the clay banks, gravelly banks, flatter sloping blanks, flatter sloping points, and get out there in anywhere between 10 to 30 foot of water and just fan cast that point on those flat banks and points. Works really, really good with that, especially if you got spotted bass and smallmouth in the lake you're fishing. Most of the time I'm going to fish it, I'll have it on a spinning rod, 8-pound test Seaguar VizX line. And when I'm throwing it out there, what I'm doing, so I'll show you a little bit about that. I'll bring this up here. With the tube out there, I'm throwing it out there, letting it hit the bottom, and I don't shake a tube like that or drag it. I hop a tube off the bottom. So you really want to get the maximum efficiency and the maximum amount of bites on a tube is you want to snap it off the bottom like that. So cast it out there, let it hit the bottom, 10, 20 foot of water, whatever, and just snap it one time. Let it fall back down, snap it and jerk it, pop it twice. The second time. Third time, snap it once like that. Fourth time, pop it twice. So you want to rotate between snapping it once and twice just to sort of give it more of an erratic look. And they're going to hit it in one of two ways. They're either going to hit it as soon as the bait's on the bottom when it falls back down, and when you pull up on it, they're just going to be there. Another time, once you pop it up off the bottom, maybe a foot or two, and it falls down, you'll just see your line jump and tick like that, and you'll get it. This is also going to be good in the springtime of the year when those fish are spawning or getting ready to spawn or in shallow water. Take the Tush head and get the lightest size you can get and just fan cast it around all those areas where you think the fish are getting ready to spawn in. They don't have to be on the beds. In fact, I don't encourage bed fishing, but once that water temperature is like in the upper 50s to about 70, there's going to be a lot of fish in those flat cove areas. They're going to be cruising, they're going to be looking for beds, looking for areas, garden fried. There's just a lot of fish shallow, and you can take the tube and just cover water in those spawning coves, and it accomplishes the same thing with the spiraling effect. Super, super effective for that. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you that. The Core Tackle Tush rig on the tube right here. Deadly way to catch them. Definitely will catch you more fish than just, using a straight tube. Once you try this Tush rig, guys, you're not going to go back to the straight tube head ever again. I mean, this will be your favorite one. So anyway, link in the description, guys, to the Tush rig, and I'll put the link to the tubes in there. Hope it helps you guys catch some good ones, and we'll talk later.